right, we will call to the order the FARGODOME Authority meeting for Tuesday, May 27th. In front of you is the agenda. Any revisions, additions? I have one that I'd like to add, and that is 2025 committee appointments and committee chairs. So I will address that when we get to item 4. We'll call that 4A. Any other comments to the agenda? Hearing none, is there a motion to accept it? We got a first from Blake, a second from Mike. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Thank you. Number 1, that is the minutes from April 29th. Any comments?
Move to approve.
First from Rick, a second from Todd. All those in favor of accepting the minutes from April 29th as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you. Old business. Is there any old business in front of the FDA? Hearing none. New business. General manager's report. Rob.
All right, page 3 starts. As always, left-hand side of the page is the month, which is April. Right-hand side of the page is year-to-date through April 30th, 2025. So for the month of April, 8 events with attendance of 24,700 compared to a budget of 25,000. Total event income of 165,400 compared to a budget of just short of 140,000. Expenses of 390,000 compared to a budget of 401,500. So we had a net deficit for the month of April of 56,800. However, that was a favorable comparison to the budgeted $95,000 deficit. On the event side, the NDSU final spring practice football gala was held, which we don't budget for, but they've had the last couple of years. And then on the family side, it was slightly below budget with El Zagle, the Shrine Circus, slightly below attendance, or slightly below budget on attendance, which results in the lower ancillary revenues, but better ancillary, just slightly lower attendance. So just got a little bit below budget there. And on the convention miscellaneous at Sanford, Sanford Health had their employee recognition event here, which was not budgeted. And on the meeting room side, a busy meeting room month, but also, as we talked earlier, that's one of the areas that we have bumped up the fees to better cover expenses with that as well. On the other income side, interest continues to be a strong result. Net advertising revenue a bit below budget, and everything else is a bit below budget with parking revenue from NDSU on the permitting thing. It seems to be less and less people parking, taking their commuter parking. On the expense side, labor was about $4,000 below budget. That is because we are running with one position open in the food and beverage department. The concessions, food and beverage concessions manager position has been open since late March. Casey and I have been doing interviews with that and hope to have that filled in the coming month. So that difference combined with obviously the additional competitive wage adjustment for the full-time employees comes out to a net below budget for the month of April. Operations was about $6,000 below budget, less equipment and janitorial supplies expense on the main side there. Any questions on the month of April? Year to date then, as you can see, 36 events with a attendance of 121,000 compared to a budget of 37 events at 121,000 in attendance. Total event income of $1,126,500 compared to a budget of $1,066,000. Expenses of $1,732,000 compared to a budget of $1,714,500. So also expenses slightly below budget. And a net surplus the first 4 years of $51,000 compared to a budget of $4,000. Comments, questions? Nothing really changed on the expense side of it for the G&A and the labor, so don't have much there. Okay, nothing on that. Then flipping over to Great question. Page 14, the calendar. Since our last event, since our last meeting, which was on Tuesday, April 29th, as we talked about there, we were getting set up for the 2025 Western National Gymnastics Championships, hosted by American Gold Gymnastics in town. They had their setup day on the 30th, practice on the 1st, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the 2nd through the 4th of May was their competition. Again, it's not a huge event that has a lot of athletes and a lot of revenue for the facility, but it was, I think, 1,500-ish athletes and the spectators that came with it, but it was, 3 to 6 nights in hotel rooms and shopping and everything for each of those families and athletes. So that was a positive impact on the region. And then we had the NDSU commencement. They started moving in and setting up on Wednesday the 14th through Friday the 16th of May. Had their 2 ceremonies on Saturday the 17th. I believe one was at 9 and the other one was at 3 or 10 and 2, something such as that. Lots of graduates, particularly in the first session, so I don't know if they're looking at changes there, but I know the ceremonies got pretty long because they're having more graduates, which means higher enrollment, which is a good thing, which takes us up to today. Any questions from the group on past events? Moving forward then, it's that time of year again, so next week, Happy Harry's Rib Fest is here. And so we'll start actually marking the lots and getting things set up. The fencing was set up today. Stuff will start going up probably tomorrow, Wednesday the 27th, or 28th this year. As they run through all that, Tents and Events will also start setting up some tents through the weekend. As a reminder, FARGODOME, the parking lots, I realize the Marathon is advertising that the race starts just outside of the FARGODOME, but it should be just outside of NDSU. I think it's NDSU who's dealing with the main side of things. So again, the marathon has nothing to do with FARGODOME again this year, other than using the parking lots on Saturday. And then we'll set up, starting full setup on Monday the 2nd for Happy Harry's Rib Fest, and kick it off on the 4th. That's also Buffalo Wild Wings is having their 25th anniversary of their North Fargo store. So they got a special thing on Wednesday where you can come out the whole day for free entry. There is parking after 4 o'clock. The Buffalo Wild Wings is covering the cost of everybody to come out and have a good time. We'll go with Wednesday night, June 4th, listening to Montgomery Gentry for their 25th anniversary. And Happy Harry's Rib Fest continues through Saturday the 7th. A little challenging this year with the calendar. Then on Sunday the 8th is Fargo High School graduations. So most of the time that happens the Sunday before Happy Harry's Rib Fest, but with Memorial Day and the way the Fargo Public Schools calendar fell this year, and I think next year actually, it's the Sunday after, which we were very upfront with them and said, it doesn't impact the inside of the building, but the northeastern corner of the building might look like there was a big party for 40,000 people for the last 4 days, but there's not a lot we can do about that. They're aware of that and working through and looking at that. And so they will have their setup and rehearsals while Rib Fest is going on the 4th, and then Thursday the 5th, Friday the 6th, and then they will be here 8 o'clock Sunday morning with the first ceremony at noon, second ceremony at 3, and the last ceremony at 6. And I can't remember the order off the top of the head, but when does Davies have there?
I'll graduate this year.
Did you ever graduate?
Or
Well, then you did.
it's high bar. It's like the Harvard of the Midwest.
Turf will go down quick for one weekend of the NDSU individual football camps on the 13th, 14th, 15th. And then on Saturday, the 21st, FARGODOME will host Theo Vaughn in his comedy concert, which takes us up to the next meeting on June 24th. Questions, comments, future events, past events, anything from the group? That would then conclude my report.
Well, thank you, Rob. Appreciate it. We'll go on to item B, and that is committee reports. I'll handle that. I chaired the finance committee on this past Wednesday. So at the finance committee, the operating budget for 2026 and the capital budget was presented for 2026. I can't do it justice in terms of the detail that Zach and Rob provided on it. The group was here for that presentation, but I would draw your attention just for a quick overcap is on page 1. On the far right column is the 2026 budget. And those numbers were discussed again by Zach as he presented them, and it's all in your packet over there. And then as far as the capital budget, I would draw your attention to page 24 of the packet. And that was the capital budget for 2026. And so that both the operating budget and the capital budget was presented and received by the finance committee, approved both the operating and the budget, and so did the building committee. So if you have questions about the operating budget or the capital budget, I welcome that at this time. Hearing none, you guys heard the April financial reports that were presented by Rob. Those were also accepted at the finance committee as presented. Item number C, project capital updates. Rob reported that staff has worked with the City of Fargo Engineering on plans to replace repaved parking lots on the east side of the building. This is the here now information, and then he also reported that staff has worked with the City of Fargo to find a contractor to repair some of the sidewalks on the northeast side of things. But the meat and potatoes of the meeting that was held this past Wednesday was going over the operating and the capital budget for 2026. The last item, escrow balance, that is on page 19. That information is in the packet each month for the FDA to receive and review, and it was. So with that, I would make a motion. I can't make the motion.
I'll make the motion.
All right, thank you, Mike.
I'll second.
Are you making the motion to approve the report as a whole, with including the capital, with the 26 operating capital budgets and the reallocation request, or are you making it to accept the report and you'll do the budgets separately, which you kind of go back and forth on if you do it or not?
So,
My motion would encapsulate it all in one.
steamroll motion, I like it.
So would my second.
All right.
It's like 4 a.m. of the last morning of this closing session.
Yeah, exactly. Close it out. At this time, would there be a motion to accept?
What do you mean?
Oh, excuse me. You got first and second. So Mike was first. Rick, forgive me. Roll call.
Todd?
Yes.
Troy?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Blake?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Mike?
All right. Thank you. The last time this was added to the agenda, that is 2026 committees. With two committees, we have finance and building. And so at this point right now, I'd like to appoint Rick.
You need a motion for the appointments of the committees.
Okay.
You don't need a motion. You
To appoint.
the chairs.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. So for finance committee, the proposed slate is Rick, Blake, Don, and Dave. Would there be motion to accept that as the finance committee for 2026?
Dave.
So moved.
So moved.
Who did that?
Rick moved. Who seconded?
Todd did.
Todd
Todd
seconded.
seconded.
You want roll call or just?
Yes, we'll need roll call. Todd?
Yes.
Troy?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Blake?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Mike?
And for building, Troy, Todd, and Mike.
Did you say Todd twice?
You did, but I'm gonna assume
Troy.
that was
Troy,
Dan.
Troy.
Rick, Blake, Dan, and Dave
Dave.
What did I
for
say?
finance.
He said Todd the first time.
Oh,
No, he said Don.
Oh,
It's
it's
Dan.
Don,
Dan,
but
Dan.
I knew it was Dan.
Todd was on the second.
I got this call at 2:45.
It was 2:30, 2:22.
2:22, right.
All right.
So building, I will do it again. Troy, Todd, had a motion. Troy,
I'll second.
thank you, Mike. Roll call.
Todd,
Yes.
Troy,
Yes.
David.
Yes.
Blake,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Yes, and at the leisure of the chair, I would like to appoint Rick chair of Finance Committee and Mike chair of Building. That would conclude 4A additional business.
I just have one question.
Yeah.
So on these committees, I know in the past you've had out, some people that are not on the board, on the committees, you have to appoint them as well? Because right now you appoint board members, right? How does that work?
The appointments to that would come up through the FARGODOME Authority. But we can look at this two different ways. Is my philosophy has always been, as we've talked, to get people who can add substance or bring something to the group. So I look to the board members and their network of people who could be added, and that would come up, particularly with the Finance Committee, because right now we are at 6. And as we saw on Wednesday of last week, it's a bit of a challenge. So that means we have to have 4 show up. So we typically will go with an odd number, and typically either 7 at the lowest or 9. So finance through either myself, my coworkers here, or the 7 authority members or city or whomever, if there are people that we think could come, I would like to see that number go either 1 to 3 more. So either 7 or 9. And so if you have people who you think that could be there, and on the finance, it's, financial, legal, real estate, things such as that. Building committee, same concept. Right now there's 5, so we only need 3 for the quorum, which again, typically is pretty good. But if we move that to 7, and again, that's, same things, but also maybe some engineering. One of those studies, mechanical, civil, electrical, architectural, anything such as that are good to have on there for those types of things. So I would look to the authority members to say, okay, I've got this person or this person or this person that we could add on. They do not, as a subcommittee member, they are appointed by the authority. So we put it on, so you don't necessarily need to bring them up through the subcommittee and then up to the authority, but they would be appointed by the president by a motion of the authority. I do not believe the subcommittee members, they do not have any residency requirements. So.
All right. So at this time, we would have to then reappoint those that are non-board members. That was.
Well, no, the answer to that is right now, the way it is every other member that's on there that is not a FARGODOME Authority member is on there through the bylaws. Because on the Finance Committee, it's Susan Thompson as the Director of Finance, Dave Pepcorn as the Financial Portfolio of the City Commission, and on Building, he would not need to be reappointed. It's just the members because they roll over with Brent is on there. He is the only non, and then Bruce can be debated whether he is the city administrator and or their appointee designee, or if he is just a general public member right now. And because I have mentioned to both Brenda Derrick and Michael Redlinger, the city administrator and assistant city administrator in reverse, that both of them are welcome to come, but obviously they've got a large slate of meetings. But I think with everything going on, it would be beneficial if one of them could start or would be able to start attending as well.
Thank you.
Does that answer your question?
And more than I asked.
Okay.
But I appreciate it. It's good.
Yep. Is there any other additional business in front of the FDA? Hearing none, we're adjourned.